Oh my god, the Legend of Zelda hype is real right now, isn't it?
Damn!
At E3, 2 weeks ago, we got an announcement for Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh, now I'm sad.
And it just looks so beautiful. Link's Awakening is coming out in 3 months. A remake of a 26 years old Zelda game created for the Game Boy. On top of that, we're getting a brand new and oh so adorable Link amiibo on the same day.
I'm excited to say the least.
And if that wasn't enough already, we just got a brand new Zelda indie game. On June 13th, 2 days after that amazing Nintendo Direct, Cadence of Hyrule was released on the Nintendo eShop. So if you don't have a Nintendo Switch, I'm sorry for you. I really am. Trust me, you are missing out on some good old Swiss cheese. So, Cadence of Hyrule came out and it was received with immense praise from critics and fans alike. It is a roguelike indie game created by Brace Yourself Games. They are the first to receive the privilege of using an IP from Big Brother Nintendo in their own game. And what an IP it is. Brace Yourself Games seized the opportunity and created a game that strongly resembles their own game, Crypt of the Necrodancer, a universally praised indie darling that came out in June of 2016. 3 years passed,
and my brother and I discovered the new avatar, an airbender named Aang. And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone.
I'm not even mad, I just love that show way too much. So, 3 years passed,
and my brother and I discovered the new avatar.
Okay, we get it. 3 years passed and... Okay, good. 3 years passed and they released Cadence of Hyrule. What they were brewing for these past years turned out to be a rhythm-based game with gorgeous art style and breathtakingly good music. Talking about the music, have I mentioned that this is a game where you have to make sure that every action you take is in sync with the beat?
Beat, 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 a beat, 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 root.
So yes, every action you take. From walking around, to slashing an enemy, to blocking projectiles. This can seem a little daunting at first, but the good thing is that you only need to pay attention to the beat when enemies are around, since they also only move and attack according to the beat. It is a hard game to get into at first. This rhythm is killing me, I can't move, help, please! Please! But once you get used to it, you start feeling like you're in control of the Matrix. And if you don't get used to it, then you can always change game mode to fixed beat mode, where you don't have to move around to the beat. But the concept of cadence-based gameplay isn't the only cool feature about the game. It definitely helps it to stand out, but the whole game was beautifully designed. You feel the love that was put into the art style and the music, which is why it was a no-brainer for me to get this game, especially since it only costs $25 on the eShop. But moving on. It is a very short game, if you want it to be. What I mean by that is that everyone gets a different layout of the map when they start up the game. So depending on your luck, you might take roughly 4 to 5 hours to finish the game. But in my case, for example, it took me around 15 to 20 hours to beat it. Granted, I did make sure to visit every single block in the map and discover as much as I could, but it really didn't feel like that much. Once I had finished, I honestly thought that it had taken me around 5 to 7 hours because I enjoyed every part of that journey. But I love that about the game. It really feels like there are thousands of ways to play it. I mean, the overworld is even procedurally generated, which means that every time you start a new game, the map will be completely different to your last, which can make a second playthrough much more enjoyable, since you never know what is going to be around the next corner. And another cool feature comes from the roguelike part of the game, where if you die, you lose some of your items, which makes you take even more care while playing the game to make sure you don't lose those same items the next time. I love how it shows that actions have consequences, and many games nowadays, just like Call of Duty or Battlefield, have lost some of that parenting aspect, which is not a bad thing necessarily, I'm just pointing it out. But moving on. If you feel like the rhythm-based combat isn't for you, you can always play the game like any other traditional Zelda game. No one will judge you.
Pussy.
I personally could have changed the settings at any time, and I almost did at some points, but I really got to enjoy the challenge, and I started to really love and get really good at the rhythm-based gameplay. The best way to describe the game is to compare it to real-time chess with a banger of a soundtrack. Once you know what movesets which enemies have, you can think tactically and start playing chess with them. Only that you have about half a second of time to plan and execute your next move. But once you get the hang of it, it looks something like this.
You really feel like a boss then? It's worth it, trust me.
But the whole game in itself is worth it. If you have never played a Zelda game, I think Cadence of Hyrule is a fun little entry point. Granted, it is not a mainline Zelda game, but it captures enough of what makes the Zelda game so good for newcomers to fall in love with. I think Cadence of Hyrule is a perfect beginning for hopefully more Nintendo-backed indie games. And it is a perfect example of showing why a good game only needs heart, compassion, and perseverance, and not just a ton of money backing it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what I can do better next time. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to help me grow this channel so I can bring out more and better content for you guys in the future. See you in the next one.